Yes, in order to corruptly endeavor, right, to obstruct the due administration of justice, the action taken by the accused must be with an intent, yes, to influence judicial or grand jury proceedings. Some courts have phrased this showing as a nexus, requirement that the act must have a relationship in time, causation, or logic with the judicial proceedings. In other words, the endeavor must have the natural and probable effect of interfering with the due administration of justice. The Supreme Court's observations notwithstanding, the courts are somewhat divided over whether the obstructed judicial proceedings must actually be pending. Now let's see. You arrested me for the allegation of violating a protection order? Yes, but I was found not guilty because I didn't. Oh. Now this nexus that they talks about? Yes, And then you arrested me for the allegation of violating it in Sequim, Washington, but I wasn't there. Then you had a mental health evaluation when I was in jail. This evading of court proceedings, Judge Porter? Yes. But that's on that background check, isn't it? The individual from Washington State. Now, how do you get all this off a background check? Because I think it has something to do with the administration of justice. Do you have to motion a court and have to prove the fraud of obstruction of justice to be able to get that off of there? Ouch! Then you arrested me again for the allegation of violating the protection order in Brennan, Washington. Oh, had me do some more mental health evaluations. But you didn't put me on the docket. You thought you'd arrest me for violating my personal recognizance. Yes. But I told the judge, well, the petitioner didn't sign it. You should read the protection order. Ooh. Then I went through it over and over and over. Now, this whole concept of using the background check to obstruct an individual's right to employment. Is there any due administration of justice necessary to have it removed? Ouch! And then, is there any due administration of justice with the intent of influencing other judges exactly who I am as an individual? You know, when I tell my public defender when I was first arraigned in November 1st of 2017 that I didn't violate the protection order, he said, no, you're having a 1077, and that's just how we're going to do it. Pooh! And I thought, well, you don't allow me any witnesses on my behalf. In fact, I really thought about calling the petitioner to the stand. I'd like to know why she didn't acknowledge the court order herself. And you thought, well, we'd obstruct Paul's access to the actual individual that did or did not motion the court for a protection order. And then you put all that shit on my background check so as to make sure that I never pay child support. Yes, I'd get arrested for back child support. Is there any due administration of justice necessary to remove all of the documentation on a background check, considering I never was convicted of any domestic violence or child abuse? Well, are you sure this isn't an obstruction of justice? Phew. I could go applying for jobs that I'm qualified for. You know, I have a degree in organizational management, and one of these minimum wage jobs. See, my plan was, yes, to get myself a room because of rental assistance so I don't live in a homeless shelter way the fuck out there on 18th Street. And you had to close it this summer, and that really fucked me up because I was vandalized and burglarized, and somebody decided to take all my shit so that I don't have any of my personal fucking items. And then you decided to fuck up my life because you wouldn't enforce the laws of the United States. Now, let's just talk about it. How do you plan on me putting my life back together so that I could apply for one of these jobs that pays more than $80,000 a year? You said that I was mentally defective or had a mental illness. You know, when you've made $1 million in 5 years and a couple $100,000 a year during that time, when you've been in the top 1% of the income tax brackets, you know, I've been watching some of these political advertisements. Are there any candidates to office that really want to be in government? Because the way that I see it, I'm going to sue every fucking oath of office. Now, obstruction of justice. How do you get that removed? So that you can get one of those good jobs. So that you don't have to be dependent on rental assistance or a homeless shelter. So that you can put your life back together. Could you remove your fraud?